Hey folks, this is Texas. I'm actually standing here with Danny Gilbert with 13 calls. We got a cool episode today. I want to say first of all, Danny, thank you for taking the time.
Oh, absolutely. Appreciate you guys coming out.
You bet. So Danny has become a good friend of ours. We've gotten to do a couple of hunts already together.
Yeah,
We got some stories there too.
Big stories already.
But we're excited. So, Danny, you're in the duck call business, and
Absolutely.
that's really kind of come to the forefront a lot of with the making of Duck Commander and that coming. So it's become a little more quote unquote popular.
Absolutely.
But for us guys, we've been doing this a while.
That's right.
So, well, man, thanks for taking the time today. We're sitting here looking at a lot of stuff. And where did this start for you? Before the call began, where did your passion in duck hunting come?
It came from just the Cajun heritage and, growing up hunting and fishing in South Louisiana. Was always a woodworker, and it just, the two kind of melded together at some point to where it's like, it'd be really cool to start making our own duck calls, and started doing it from, for friends and whatnot, and it just grew from there.
That's cool. So let's kind of start from the beginning. When you started this, we were just talking a minute ago about the inserts here, and I said, do these have any significance to you?
Right, absolutely. So basically those were prototypes over the last couple of years. Just trial and error. There's so much that's involved in making a duck call. So just trying out different bores and depths and different shapes and whatnot until we landed on where we are today.
Well, what I think is cool about your calls is so many guys come in and they make custom calls,
Right.
but they really stop with a barrel.
Sure, definitely.
And they buy the inserts. Well, that wasn't good enough for you.
No, it wasn't at all. And so we definitely do make everything from the insert to the barrel. It's 100% our calls, our design, and we definitely wanted to get that Cajun raspy sound that I grew up hearing hunting, and wanted to translate that into different high quality calls, and a lot of Texas woods too on top of that.
Well, that's what I thought was cool. So one of the calls I've got is the boat arc.
Right.
Which, a lot of people around the nation don't even know what boat arc is, but the minute you told me, I'm like, I want that one.
Yeah, Texas guys definitely know what boat arc is, and
it's a really hard wood.
It is, and they'll make recurve bows and whatnot out of it, believe it or not. So it makes an extremely good call, very close to the acrylic since it is such a hard wood.
Yeah. All right, so Danny, we've got a lot of the calls. These are the calls you make today. So once you went through all this process, this is where we landed.
Absolutely,
okay?
Absolutely.
So, we hear a lot of conversations. Some of the duck hunters say, man, I'm a single reed guy or I'm a double reed guy. One of the things I was impressed with, I came in and I was that guy. I'm like, man, Danny, I'm a double reed guy. And he said, yeah, but try this.
Right.
And I did, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah, absolutely.
So kind of tell us a little bit about these and various calls and what you got.
So really with 13 calls, we have our 4 main calls. We have the dew and our double reed. We have the 13 micorda. We have the voodoo, which is our single reed. And then we have the 13 hybrid, which is obviously wood and acrylic mixed together.
Okay.
You're going to get a different tone and sound obviously out of each one of them, but that is the basis of all of our calls.
Well, they're amazing. Now tell me a little bit about this one, because it's got a texture to it, and I know, but it's acrylic.
Yes. No, this one's actually micorda.
It is? Okay.
Yes, and so micorda is basically a resin and linen that's laid together and makes a super hard product. A lot of times what you'll find in micorda is knife handles. That's very popular in knife handles.
You know what? I have seen that. Yeah.
But it's coming in very big into the duck calling industry now. The reason you don't see it a lot, it's usually extremely expensive because it is so hard to work with. But it makes a tremendous product, and it is super loud and clean sounding.
Cool. Well, Danny, I know one of the things that I was blown away with is regardless of what product you use, your calls are the same price.
Yes, absolutely. That's definitely something I wanted to do with all of my calls, was just go across the board, $100 a call, just to make it simple for everyone and affordable. And we love people getting into the duck calling industry.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you right now, I told you when I got mine, I said that's just too cheap.
Yeah.
Because the quality is there. So, well, man, I'm excited. I think it's going to be fun kind of making a call.
Yep.
I promise you guys won't see me getting behind the lathe because I'll probably mess something up. So we're going to watch Danny make a good duck call. But, what I love about it also for you is this is rich in heritage and roots for you. This goes back to you being a young man. And we kind of talked about that. You being the dude spotting the birds.
Yeah,
being
right.
The blind with
Yeah,
your-
standing on a 5-gallon bucket
Okay.
so you could see over the blind. Absolutely. So it goes way back, and that's kind of the mantra of 13 Calls is Cajun crafted quality. The Cajun part obviously is a big part of my heritage and what I grew up doing. But the Cajun culture was all about family and friends.
Yeah.
And food. Definitely food.
You gotta have the food in there.
The food was a huge part of it, but a lot of the food led from hunting. When we'd either go on duck hunts or big fishing trips, and everybody would get together and cook, and it was just always a cool thing. And I'm wanting to bring that into 13 Calls, and it's already happened quite a bit because we'll have our customers that purchase calls, and then they're sending pictures from their hunts, either with their 13 hat or with their calls, and it's awesome. It's creating a family and a culture here in 13. The crafted part obviously is what sets me apart, I think, from a lot of manufacturers, because we're doing everything by hand.
Yeah.
And what's super cool about that is that you get even though the basic shape overall is the same, you get a unique call. Every single person is going to get a unique call because I'm doing everything by hand.
Yeah.
And the quality part is everything obviously is made, is sourced from the U.S. and, high quality acrylic. The wood, like we said, all sourced from Texas. So you're getting super high quality product that's handmade for a good price.
Perfect. So Danny, which is your number one selling call? Which is the one call that everybody says, man, I want this one?
People are really in love with all the wooden calls, I think, because it's such a niche, doing all the Texas woods, and you don't see that. You'll see Coca-Cola and your other hardwoods, which are great.
Yeah.
But I definitely think the pecan wood so far has been one of the best ones.
Big hits.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, let's hear one of your calls real quick, and then we're
Absolutely.
gonna make one.
Yep. So here's the double reed, which is a lot of people are really liking. You see, it gets real.
Yeah, it's got a good tone to it. That's what I liked about them, and they're consistent.
And it's not too super loud. And then if you go into the voodoo, you'll see it's a lot more crisp. Real super loud, and you don't really have to get real hard on them to do that.
Well, cool. Let's get out there and let's make a call.
Let's do it.
All right, Danny, so this, we've gone through the whole process. We've made the barrel,
Right.
and got that all finished here, and then you actually take an extra step that a lot of people don't. You have a laser engraver
Yep, sure do.
that finishes these barrels off, and man, they look sharp.
Thank
So
you.
this is the boat arc wood that we just did,
That's right.
finished out, and then we took the time to do the insert.
Yep, and then we got the clear insert going inside this one. So this is technically a hybrid call as well because it has the acrylic and the wood.
Okay.
And we're going to go ahead and run a double reed in this one today.
Nice. So this is the process that you call tuning.
Yes, this is the process we call tuning. It's so we're going to go through it here.
Okay.
So what you always want to make sure we do all of our reeds pre-cut in the laser as well. The length is not pre-cut though, so we do still have to go through that process.
And that's kind of the process of you tuning a call,
Absolutely.
making sure we get the right sound that you want.
The first thing you have to do with all reeds and any calls is to make sure the reed is facing the proper way. So whenever it bends, whatever side goes down is the side that has to set on your tone board. Because basically what happens if you have it the opposite way, whenever you go blow into the call, it's not going to vibrate correctly.
Okay.
So that's one of the first steps. So we're going to get a little dimple in our call here on our second reed.
And the dimple creates a little bit of separation.
Exactly, just a small bit of separation there between the two reeds so you can get air in between.
Okay.
So we're going to make sure it's the right way. You have to wet the cork. You want to try to keep your reeds right centered to the call.
On the tone board, is
Yep.
that's what that's called?
Definitely, and you definitely want to take your time with the cork here and not to snap your tone board.
So that sounds like from experience
Yeah, there's a few that have gone in the trash.
man, that's a lot of work to get to this point to have that happen, man.
Absolutely.
I'm sure that's disappointing when it had. So you learned.
What we're gonna do is just trim our cork here.
So again, another reason you haven't allowed me to do anything in this process. I've kept begging you, and you just said, stand over there.
That's right. So I know just from my call seeing the depth that this is going to be, it's going to be too long before I even run it.
Okay.
I'm just going to give it just a little bit of a 45 there. Let's see what you sound like. Still just a bit off. And each time, once you get to this point, it's a very, very fine process. Yes, you're taking a very small amount off every time. And it just becomes repetition at this point, getting it to where you want it to sound. Which that's pretty close there.
Yeah, that sounds good. So Danny, here we got the finished product. This is a boat arc call with the acrylic insert.
Yep.
And man, it actually takes quite a bit of time. You put a lot of detail in these calls.
Yep, there's a lot of time that goes into making these, but it's well worth it.
Absolutely. Well, it's an amazing call. $100. Where can people buy these calls at?
13calls.com. Come check us out.
Absolutely. Well, we've had the pleasure of hunting with Danny and also hunting with this call. It's an amazing product. You guys check it out. I've got one of these on my lanyard, and I think I'm adding another one. This is Texas.